Welcome to Brampton Focus. It's a housing development phenomenon that's occurring in established neighborhoods across North America. It's called a monster home. With the red-hot real estate market and prices rising, a purchaser has every right to build as big or as high a house as city regulations permit. But many residents ask, what about the character of the existing neighborhood? What kind of impact will a monster house have on the surrounding homes? In Brampton, Ontario, there is one such famous house that everyone knows about. It's called Brampton's Big Blue House. My name is Michael A. Charbon. In the next 1 hour special, we present a Brampton Focus exclusive, where for the first time, we meet face-to-face with the builder and owner of Brampton's Big Blue House, and we go inside the building. We also speak to the neighbors who live right beside this partially constructed house in their community. Next, a 1 hour special entitled Brampton's Big Blue House, right here on Brampton Focus. Welcome to a sleepy bedroom community in Brampton, Ontario, rich with hardworking families and retirees. It's a quaint, tree-lined enclave with single-family and semi-detached homes that have existed there for over 30 years. But it's a community where the city of Brampton, its councillors, neighbours, and an owner-builder have been in dispute for the last 4 years. Where construction is stopped, a big blue house sits unoccupied and partially built as the whole mess remains unresolved and in the courts. So who's at fault? Why did this happen? How could this go on for 4 years unresolved? What effect has a big blue house had on homeowners, the neighborhood, and the real estate prices? What was the cost to the builder? What has the city and councillors done to resolve this problem? And how has the press reported the story? Later in a broadcast exclusive, I sit down face-to-face with the owner and builder of Brampton's Big Blue House. And for the first time on TV, our cameras go inside the home as we attempt to get the answers to these questions and many more. But first, I had a chance to meet and speak with 3 of the neighbors. Mike Leslie lives right beside the Big Blue House. Peggy Ronan lives directly behind the house. And Lynn Murphy, who lives across the street and has really been the most vocal community member for the last 4 years on the subject of Brampton's Big Blue House. Ladies, thank you so much for taking the time to come and be with us here in Brampton Focus. I know it's not easy because there's been a lot of press reports and a lot of things going on, but I want to talk to you first, Lynn. Lynn, you've been quoted in many of the articles in the media. There's been many reports done, and I want to come to you first and say to you, what is the state of your community right now with this Big Blue House? Where are you at right now?
Well, the issue is with the Big Blue House is that nothing is happening. And all the neighbors have, over the past 4 years, have been up in arms. You know, we're not getting any answers that we need from the city. We're always delayed responses, and we have issues with the size of the house itself. All right, I'm across the street from it, and last year or a couple of years back, we put in beautiful bay windows in the front of our house.
Right, so you could.
And now all I look at is a blue cloud.
So this started, just so we can have a benchmark here, this started in 2012.
Yes.
So we're 2016 now. Yeah. So you live across the street from this house.
I do.
Peggy Ronan, you live beside this house.
Yes, his backyard is actually the side of our house. So we share like his...
A common fence.
Like it's his back, yeah, the common fence would be.
And what has your life been like as a result of the construction of this?
Well, it's very painful to look at from one lucky thing for us is that we're inside the house, like inside our house, so we don't have to actually look at it till we go outside. But as soon as I open my side door, it hits you right in the face because it's like right there. And so anyone who comes to visit, come up at the side of our house, go out in our backyard, which we try to keep, you know, pretty decent in the summer, and all you see is this blue monstrosity.
So if I characterize it as a mature community, many retirees who invested their life savings and their hard work in their house, what is the community's position right now when they come to their house after working or going shopping and they see this, and you called it a monstrosity, it's been called hideous, it's been called a monster home. What is the emotional toll that's taken on the community currently?
Well, I think it's definitely a topic that everyone speaks of. Like, it's brought more traffic into our neighborhood. Like, you wouldn't believe the cars that just come, stop, take a picture, turn around in our driveway and go on again. So it's brought more traffic into our little neighborhood. Community-wise, it's like well, I don't know how to say it, but everyone talks about this house. No matter who you meet, you can go to a grocery store, up to Walmart, anywhere in our vicinity, and that's the whole topic. Once someone finds out you live on that street, that's when the conversation starts.
So this has been going on since 2012, as we said. What is the current condition of the house?
Pretty bad.
So when you say pretty bad,
Oh, it's really bad.
So there have been reports that there are squatters, there are high school kids that go in there and do and smoke, and whatever happens, happens. Is there no security?
No, there's no security at all. Initially, when he started to, when he built the house, he didn't rely on cameras for security. He decided to bring in 2 dogs. And the dogs, although they had food, water, and they had a shelter, they were left running around that property day and night.
But that's not illegal. I mean, it's
fine,
except
for they barked all day and all night, okay? So, and then on occasion, the dogs found their way out of the backyard, and we're talking about German Shepherds.
Yeah.
So we have, you know, young children in the area. We didn't know how dangerous these dogs were. A lot of anyone who walked by with a dog, these dogs went insane. Okay.
So this is just another pain.
It is.
Added on to the unfortunate reality of what you're looking at. So it begs the question: has the city come to your aid? Has your regional councillor, whomever represents you, has that person in any way helped to resolve this?
No, they have not. I have been in communication with the city many, many, many times, okay? And each time I am talking with them, I do get a communication back from them, but I have yet to see either of my counselors come to my door and specifically sit down and talk to me about this problem.
So we haven't had the kitchen table talk yet?
I've received 1 phone call and 1 visit. They came to take pictures from my side door of the shed and the house, and I never heard a word after. Nothing.
So a scenario like this that has, it has obtained national coverage in all the major newspapers. It's been talked about as an example of what other cities may want to avoid. So I'm going to go to you, Lynn. Retired, husband retired, you worked 25 years hard, you put everything into your house.
That's right.
Part of what you wanted to do was potentially sell it or do something with it so at least you can move and move to a sunnier, hotter place, or what has this hypothetically done to property values, or done to your ability to vend your house?
It's basically stopped me cold, okay? I can't really do anything at this point. We had a situation where, and don't get me wrong, my husband's not one who wants to get up and leave his home he's been in for 36 years.
Good man.
Okay? It was our first home, and it may actually be our last home, okay?
And we've been there for 38.
That's right. And the thing is that we put, and my husband and I have worked all our lives. We raised 2 children in that home, and we put everything we had into that house. Okay.
Your house.
Into our house.
Across the street from the Big Blue House.
That's right.
And?
Well, now my house is not worth what it should. I cannot get fair market value for my home. Unfortunately, a lady that lives it was 2 houses from the corner, or directly across from him. She was forced to sell her house. Her son was ill, and she was a single mom, and she had to take what they were willing to give. And that was about a year and a half ago, when the houses were going for about $350.
It's not about price.
It's not about price.
It's not about price.
But she lost a significant a lot of money. She actually took a major loss in her home, and I don't think that's fair on anyone in the neighborhood.
So Peggy Runane, thank you so much for being with us. We'll be back with another gentleman. Mike Leslie will be here. My name is Michael A. Charbon. We're looking into Brampton's Big Blue House right after this. Welcome back to Brampton Focus's 1 hour special on the Big Blue House, Brampton's Big Blue House. We're now joined by Mr. Mike Leslie, who is right beside me, and also continuing with us is Lynn Murphy. These are two people who live. Lynn lives right across the street from Brampton's Big Blue House, and Mike lives right beside it. Mike, thank you so much for being here in Brampton Focus.
Thank you for having me.
Where exactly, geographically, are you situated to the Big Blue House?
I am directly east of the Big Blue House.
So, an 1,800 square foot house was sold, and all of a sudden, it's reported that this is 6,600 square feet of Blue House. How has this affected you emotionally?
Well, unfortunately, it's an eyesore. We deal with garbage. We're dealing with rodents. Every morning I get up to go have a coffee in my kitchen. I look at a blue wall. We sit in our dining room for dinner with the family. We look at the blue wall. It's in our sight every day.
So what broke? What didn't happen here? Or what would you believe hypothetically could have been a huge contributing factor to the cause of this?
Well, I would have liked to have seen them approach us on the size of the house before it ever even got approved. We were never involved in any of the initial planning. I know in a lot of cases if there's
But wouldn't one say, and to play devil's advocate, one would say that when you buy a property and if you want to put another level on, that was what was proposed, to put a second level on a house, as long as it is approved by building standards and the municipality, really, for all intents and purposes, the neighbors don't have too much of a say.
In Brampton, we have no say. I was told it was none of my business by the city.
And we were happy with the second floor going on.
Right.
That we were, I had no issues with the second floor going on the existing house.
So this has been going on since 2012, Mike. Who has not done their job here?
I think the city let everybody down, allowing this to get this point. One, we haven't seen any real proof of how it got approved. Nobody will admit that somebody made a mistake. All we were told was the junior engineer is no longer on the process. It's now taken over by the senior. But I haven't seen a building inspector or anybody from the building department ever even approach me.
Where does that leave you guys?
Yeah,
Lynn?
Nowhere. I have constantly been in touch with the city trying to find out what is the outcome, what are our next steps. When something goes wrong at that house, or if the grass is too long, I'm on the city almost weekly, and they're sick of me. They really are. But if I don't stay on top of them and keep fighting to try to find out, what our position is, because we're not getting anywhere at all, and we're not seeing anything moving at the house.
Well,
I don't see it taking.
This is all about the city. This is not a provincial issue. This is not a federal issue. This is a municipality situation. This is to do with who's representing your area in Brampton. What kind of movement? What kind of reaction have you gotten from your municipal representatives from the city?
Well, they keep telling me that they're working on it and that, meetings are scheduled to discuss and they'll get back to me as quickly as possible. A number of things that I've raised to them, they responded back by saying because this is now in the courts, they're unable to do any work on the property itself. I identified damage that was done on the boulevard. That is, ever since the house went down, was taken down, and it still hasn't been fixed. I've been asking for that over and over again. Nothing.
But they still could be under the encumbrance of, because it's in front of the courts, the city can't go there and repair it because it's evidence.
I'm
right?
sorry, that's public property, and in the area where I'm speaking, we have school buses that stop there, and the children get off. All we need is a child to fall, break a leg, and then they're going to end up with more problems. Another thing that was done, and because we aren't told anything, is the owner of the house contracted someone out to put a new driveway in at the corner of Center Street and Hinchleywood Grove, which made absolutely no sense. We are on one of the busiest streets in Brampton, side streets in Brampton. When I moved in there many years ago, we had a dead end. It was dead end street.
Right, yeah.
They've opened it up to Boulevard, and it's now used as a service road. So when there's an accident on Kennedy Road, everything is diverted to down our street. We can't get out of our driveways. Now, here I'm being told that it's been approved that he can have a driveway that is so close to the corner, as soon as someone comes out of that, somebody's going to get hurt.
So
okay?
I could feel the frustration.
I am frustrated with them.
I can see the tears in your eyes. This has been a problem.
It's been a major problem, and we're not getting any answers. I retired 3 years ago, and I made it a point that, because I had a lot of time on my hands, and because we had so much invested in our homes, that I would stay on his case. And anything that he did, in fact, when they shut him down, I told him that I would be in touch with the city if I saw anything going on over there at all.
So, Mike, what are you feeling? What has to be done here? How can we resolve this?
Well, the resolution needs to be done now. Yeah. I mean, right now we're hearing again that he's applied to make it a duplex. So now we're waiting until June for a decision. So then it just seems to be dragging on.
Well, there's also been a report,
dragging on.
It's been reported in the media that he wants to put up an 11-foot fence.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I'll discuss that because it's going to affect me. Right now, I have no grass in my backyard because of the house and the material they have on the fence to keep debris from coming into my yard. That doesn't work. All it does is it's killed my grass. I mean, because the winds blow from the west, I've got garbage in. I'm constantly picking stuff up that I shouldn't have to be dealing with, and that's one of the big things that drives me nuts. Every day I have to go out and pick something up off my yard.
So if the house was finished and it was all closed up, and would that at least be a resolution to this?
It's too high. From what I've been told, he has not reached the maximum height on that home. And if you take a look at the photos, it towers over our homes.
Well, it's not in any way conducive to what the neighborhood characteristic is. You're talking about attached homes, semi-detached bungalows. I mean, this is a beautiful Brampton bedroom community. I mean, as you said in the first, you invested your life in this.
Right.
What has this done to your program? I mean, you're still working. Your wife's about to retire in in a year, you said?
I mean, we've been there for 25 years, but our plan is to, when I retire, to move. The kids are out. We want to sell in a few years, move out into a smaller house, more comfortable house for us to retire in. And if that house is left to stand, I just see that we're going to be stuck with a house that we just either won't get the value for it, which is, part of our retirement. And that's
right.
So, we need people to realize that if something happened like this in their area, it's going to impact them for their life, the rest of their life.
Mike Leslie, I want to thank you for coming here and expressing to us what your situation is. Also, Lynn Murphy, thank you so much. You've been the pusher on this whole thing. You've been the lady who's really make it go, and also to Peggy Ronayne, who was our guest in the first segment of this. Please stay tuned as we continue this special 1-hour Brampton Focus presentation of Brampton's Big Blue House, because for the first time on television, our cameras go inside the Big Blue House and reveal what really has been built. And we meet the man behind the house as I sit down face to face with the owner and builder of Brampton's Big Blue House, Ahmed Elbasiouni, next. Welcome back to this special 1-hour presentation of Brampton Focus's The Big Blue House. My name is Michael A. Charbon. I am now joined by Mr. Ahmed Elbasiouni, who is the owner and the actual builder of the Big Blue House in Brampton. Ahmed, thank you very much for joining us here today. Right off the top, I want to go through some of the stats and some of the specifics that have gone on. So just bear with me here. In 2012, you bought an 1,800 square foot house on the corner of 443 Center Street North in Brampton for approximately $381,000. Is that right?
Correct.
Correct. What percentage of the house did the original 1,800 square foot house occupy on the property lot? Like, how much did it take up?
Approximately 22%.
22%, okay. Then in August 28th, 2012, did the city issue a building permit for your property in accordance with the plans and architectural drawings that you submitted?
Yep.
So they did. So you got a plan, you got it stamped.
And I got a permit as well, yep.
And you got a permit as well. So I've got to ask you, why are you here today? Why are you here with Brampton Focus to talk about this? Why are you here today?
Well, to clear the cheap story that's been purported all over the news and media that I am the bad guy who walked in and destroyed the neighborhood area and built a house with no permit, and actually went far beyond what I was approved for. In fact, since 2012 till now, none of these medias, newspapers or any people who talk on the radio, for example, like this guy, 640 AM, none of them have brought the truth and right facts to the neighbors or to the community. And this is very saddening.
So I've done a lot of research on this. There's been numerous articles written in multiple news publications, and they continually state that you were ordered to tear down the house. One in particular, just of recent, was in the Toronto Star, April 6th, and in the article it says that the city ordered it torn down. Were you ever ordered to tear down your house?
None at all. It's false.
Okay. So now take me through the timeline. What is the timeline of how things started to occur? You bought this house in 2012. What is the timeline? What happened after that?
Well, firstly, I bought the house in 2010, and by 2011, I submitted my drawings and my stamped in engineering drawings, which were stamped by qualified people with license from Ontario. And 2011, I received my first permit, and 2012, I received my second permit after the city accused me of demolishing the house with no permit. They recognized their error and they revised the first permit. They issued the second permit, and that was in June or August of 2012. February 2013, the house was completely framed, and at that time the city purported the issue of discovering an error, which based on that they revoked my permit. In the meantime, there was some fake statements and misleading statements were announced that the city council that I gone far beyond what I was authorized for, and that the house is not according to the drawings, and also, Toronto Star and Brampton Guardian have published a number of misleading statements that this house is for me and my family and my step-family. And in fact, this is not true. This house was designed to be for me and my father. In fact, in 2013, after they revoked and made multiple revocations for permissions that I was granted, I had no choice but to appear to the Superior Court, appear before the Superior Court for justice. And the Honorable Justice Barnes have taken about 4 months going after all over these documents and evidences. And in August of 2013, he made a well-balanced, informed endorsement that concluded that the city's action and revocations were unreasonable and unfair. But unfortunately, this did not get broadcasted to the community. None of the people knew about that. They all just mentioned that the judge have given us 30 days to find a resolution. But this was not the fact.
But I have to say, I mean, we've interviewed the neighbors. We've got about 2 minutes left in this segment. We've interviewed the neighbors, and they're saying that their property values have been devalued, that their lives have been torn up by this big blue monstrosity. I mean, how do you react to comments like that? I mean, we've seen things in social media being said about you. How do you feel about this?
Well, I agree that the neighbors have been suffering for the last 3 years. I don't agree that it's my fault. I do understand that the city had a rule to act and to do things to protect me and the neighbors, but unfortunately, it is the court that have held them unreasonable. And specifically, the court said that this was a mess and that no one should have gone through this, and there is a reason why we send things to the city. I paid them to issue my permit, and at the end of the day, they screwed me up, accused me, and made the people suffers. They're looking at a big blue house, half-baked cake, and they think that this is the house that they're gonna be watching forever. That's not true. The house will have exterior sheeting, lighting, some windows, some landscaping. This house was designed to bring the property's values surrounding the house up. And this is not my statements, that's some qualified real estate people who agreed on that.
Okay, when we return in segment number 2, we're going to talk about some specifics. We're going to talk about things that have been said, stated, and printed in the media. You're watching a special edition of Brampton Focus. It's called The Big Blue House. My name is Michael A. Charbon, back right after this. Welcome back to Brampton Focus, our special edition, 1 hour on the Brampton Big Blue House. I'm joined by Ahmed Elbasiouni, who is the owner and the builder of Brampton's Big Blue House. Now, I want to get through some of this, clear a little bit of this legalese up here. In the Toronto Star, February 25th, 2013, it's written in the paper that Councillor Grant Gibson, who represents the ward, and I quote, this is from the Star, his intent was clearly to demolish, bracket, without a demolition permit, and his intent was not to follow the rules. Then in February 2013, again, I quote the Toronto Star, at a council meeting Wednesday, Councillor Grant Gibson, who represents the ward, explained to the staff what residents are complaining about and said he believes the owner has gone far beyond what was allowed under the permit. Did you go far beyond what was allowed under the permit?
None at all. And in respect of the first part that I required or I needed to obtain a demo permit, this is false. There is a document that been filed with the court explaining that I did not need to obtain a demolition permit. So this is one. The second thing, that I gone far beyond what I was authorized for, this is also false. Because basically the city have commissioned a survey which showed that I'm less than what I was authorized. I was authorized for 45%. I built my house for 43.
All right, now we go to February 25th, 2013, again, the Toronto Star. A technical discrepancy, as it's described in quotation marks, may have allowed the building permit that led to the partial construction of the towering home, staff explained. Acting Planning Commissioner Dan Kozierski updated council at the Monday's Planning Committee meeting. So he updated council. And then further, in the same article from the Toronto Star, 2013, a regional councillor, Elaine Moore, said, and I quote here, as it says in the paper, "I don't care whose mistake it is, we'll know more on Wednesday," end quote. And then, quote, "but I think it is an error to allow the building to continue standing in the neighborhood," end quote. What was the technical discrepancy that Mr. Kozierski, the planning commissioner, updated the council on?
Well, it's they reported that they discovered an error, and that was their base to revoke my permits. In fact, the staff haven't filed that report that was ordered from 2013, and yet no report have been provided to explain what error or who discovered the error or what is the error. I don't agree with that at all.
So what report? Is there a report that explains what this technical discrepancy is?
None at all. It's not been filed with the city council meeting or the court or even me. I made a freedom of information request. It was denied. No report
So you made a freedom.
yet.
So you wanted to find out what this technical discrepancy was.
Yes.
And were you satisfied with finding that out?
I got zero answer. My freedom of information request was denied.
So how do you find out what the technical discrepancy was? Was it not stated to council?
No one knows what it is. The court in 2015 reopened the matter and ordered the city to file such a document. But yet there is no report. No one have taken responsibility to declare that error. They just purported that there was an error, but no official documents confirms that. If people will go on the city's online and look at their agenda, the report is still determined to be filed. Yet
So
it's
it
not
hasn't been
filed. Not at all. No.
So after all this legalese and all this going back and forth and reporting, etc., what resolution was made by the court to you? Like, what is the resolution? What has been said that has to happen next?
Well, the court in 2013 ordered both parties to appear before it to discuss what steps that should be taken. In fact, the Honorable Justice Barnes have given 3 options for me to do, i.e. committee of adjustment application or demolition or complying with the newfound zone
So
that they
3
allowed.
options he gave you.
That's right.
Right.
But unfortunately, once I started complying with that order, the city appealed this order, the order of Justice Barnes. We appeared before the divisional court. The divisional court confirmed that the Honorable Justice Barnes haven't made any error, and they remitted the matter back to him with a 2 years extension to bring this matter to a conclusion.
So
Further,
the premise was that he wanted to give enough time so both you and the city could resolve this situation.
in fact, it's the divisional court. When the divisional court was asked by the city to revoke the permit, the divisional court refused, alleging that this is not a reasonable thing, and they given 2 years for the Honorable Justice Barnes to bring this matter to a conclusion. And that's why the Honorable Justice Barnes ordered the city to file documents and to provide staff for examination.
And have they?
The CBO haven't attended the examination for 2 times, and we have obtained a
So
certificate of
who didn't
non-attendance.
attend? So
The chief building official of the city who revoked the permit, who alleged
so
the
that
error.
person did not attend
No.
court. Did you attend court?
Absolutely. Examination in court, yes.
So with just about a minute left, where do we stand right now from a legal standpoint?
I would say that the Superior Court is digging to find what is the error and where is the error and why it was not declared in official documents. But in the meantime, the court have acted reasonably, sending me to the Ontario Municipal Board, the expert organization, to make such a decision,
Right.
whether this permit should be revoked or I will be granted a variance that I'm eligible for to continue the house.
So we have a house in Brampton called the Big Blue House, and it's still standing, and we haven't resolved this as of yet. In our last segment, in our third segment, we sent our Brampton Focus camera crew there, and we went inside the house. When we returned, the very first pictures from inside the house of the Big Blue House. I'm here with Ahmed Elbasiouni, and we're talking about the Brampton Big Blue House. I'm Michael A. Charbon. You want to come back for this. Back with more right after this. Welcome back to Brampton Focus, our special 1-hour edition on the Big Blue House in Brampton. I'm joined by Ahmed Elbasiouni, who is the owner and the builder of Brampton's Big Blue House. What you're going to see behind us as we go through this segment is the very first time TV cameras have gone inside the Big Blue House. And I invite you to comment on any of the shots inside because they've never been seen before to our public. What I want to do is just a final little bit of legalese here is on April 7th, 2016 in the Toronto Star, an article appeared, and this is what it said. The owner of a partially built monster home is suing the city of Brampton for $20 million after his building permit was revoked in 2013. In a separate action, the homeowner is suing 2 current councillors, Grant Gibson, Elaine Moore, and 1 former member of the council for a total of $7 million. He alleges that after the neighbors began complaining about the size of the partially constructed house in 2013, that the city, through its employees, was directed by city councillors and their managers to stop Elbasiouni from completing the construction of the new structure. The city denies the allegations in the lawsuit, which has been filed in August. And in a statement of defense, the city says that the building permits were issued by mistake because of a computer mapping error. Brampton Focus reached out to Councillor Elaine Moore and to Councillor Grant Gibson and asked them to appear on this program to put forth their comments and their feelings on this issue. And we received a response back, a written response from them, saying that because it was in front of the courts, they respectfully denied the opportunity to appear with us. $20 million, Ahmed. That's a lot of money. Like, where do you get $20 million in suing the city?
Well, the $20 million are not for the damages that I have incurred because of they stopped me. In fact, they accused me, they defamed me, they want me to appear the bad guy in there, which is totally not right. This is false. And in the meantime, they're refusing to clear the matter to people so that people know that I didn't do wrong things. I asked them for retractions. They never done it, and they're not open to do so. The $20 million are punishment for the city. The article have breakdown the numbers for the damages, and punitive damages are really high for a matter like that.
Well, this further in the April 16, 2016 Toronto Star article, it says that the city stated that when it realized its mistake on February 20th, it revoked the permits. The city also states that Elbasiouni suffered, if Elbasiouni suffered any alleged damages which are not admitted, it was in part because he failed to conduct the requisite research prior to commencing construction on the property. They further state he failed all material times to ensure that this development plan adhered to the applicable zoning laws of the city. He is largely, if not wholly, the author of his own misfortune. How do you react to that statement?
That doesn't match their statement saying that the error was from their end. How could it be from my end? What the court have said is that the mess is theirs. There is a reason why we send things to the city, and the city failed to do the rule. So it doesn't make sense that I'm the reason why this error have taken place.
Well, this is a highly emotional situation. I could tell you when our Brampton Focus camera crew attended your building, was filming, when they were outside, there was several cars that went by. One in particular flipped the bird and had some very incendiary comments towards you and our camera crew. You can also go online and you can see in many of the social network and online comments, there's been some threats that have been levied to burn the house down. That's what's been said. What do you think about those comments?
Well, let me tell you what the judge have said.
Which judge?
The Honorable Justice Barnes in the hearing of 2013. He clearly said that this is a mess. No citizen of this great country should have gone through this. Not me, not the neighbors. There is more than what you have seen. There is radio broadcasting that have again renewed the allegation that I have built this without a permit. This is not, that's just a cheap story. No one should accept this. This is against common sense.
So how do you feel you've been treated by the city?
Well, unfairly. That's what the court said. It's a mess. They shouldn't have done this. They should not make me pay for a mistake that they allege that they found. It's not mine. They're the one who did this mistake, and they want me to pay for it. It's not fair.
Now, I mean, many of the media reports that I've seen, it continually repeats a statement that says you were ordered to demolish your house. So one could assume that when it keeps repeating, that people think that you were told to knock down your house, and you haven't done that.
Well, the court clearly explained that I am not ordered to tear it down. That's one option that's been given by the court, but that was not an order made by the city. They cannot order me to demolish it, and that's what the court have explained, that they cannot force me to demo the house.
So from 2013, here we are, 2016, we remain with a large house that still is called Brampton's Big Blue House, and nothing's being done. You can't do anything to it. You can't touch it because everything's in front of the courts. One side says they can't reply because it's in front of the courts, and you're left in limbo.
Let me clarify that the matter is not before the court anymore. The matter had been held by the court in 2013. The court have released its judgment, but they're saying it's before the court. This is not true. They can clearly explain what the court have acknowledged and ordered, but they wish not to do.
All right, when we come back, our final segment on Brampton's Big Blue House, right here on Brampton Focus. My name is Michael Charbon. I encourage you to stay for our final segment as we wrap this story up. Stay tuned. We'll be right back after this. Welcome back to Brampton Focus Special Edition called Brampton's Big Blue House. My name is Michael Charbon. I am joined by the builder and the owner of the Big Blue House in Brampton, Mr. Ahmed Elbasiouni. As you see, once we're rolling in this segment, you'll see pictures of inside the house. First time ever that anybody has shown pictures of inside the Big Blue House. So I've got to ask you, Ahmed, the question begs to be asked, why such a huge house? And why in this neighborhood? Was it your objective to build something that was so out of character from this neighborhood?
My friend, people think that this is a very large house. However, in fact, this house is only 43%. That means there's 57% of land that is uncovered. This house is only 3 bedrooms house with a basement apartment or another apartment in the basement that contains about 3 bedrooms. So this is not...
It's been reported like you got 10 bathrooms and 10 bedrooms and kitchens, and what really is been built? I mean, we can see, inside. What is it that's been constructed here?
Again, a 3-bedroom house with an apartment at the basement level that has also 3 bedrooms in there. But whatever was purported by the news are just, for selling the papers. But it is not true.
So what about, we kind of touched on this before, but you've been accused of building a monster house, and many of the people in the community have said that as a result of this structure being left undone for almost 3 years now, it's affecting real estate prices in the area. What's your comment to that?
I may agree that because it's left unfinished for that such time, it might affect the prices and values, but not after it's gonna be done. It's a fact that many real estate people have given the opinion that once this is done and fully finished, it will have a value that is not comparable to any of the houses around. That being said, people will be proud to be living next to a very luxuriant house. There
has been people who have said that potentially you're a real estate speculator. You're building this house, you could flip it, you're going to leave the community and have nothing to do with this. What is your intention when this house is completed, if this house is completed? I say that with all respect. Are you going to live in this house? Is this your house, or are you going to put it up for sale and split?
Let me tell you, some other people said that this is a building apartment in military compound, but in fact, this is my own private residence. I'm not doing this for rent. I'm not investing such amount of money for renting or flipping, because no one would be able to afford such a expensive construction that been constructed, and I myself, after this house will be finished, will not have the desire to sell it. It's mine, and it will be mine forever.
So it also begs the question, what have you been doing in the interim? I mean, this started in 2012. When was the estimated time of completion, and how has this affected your life as a result of being put on hold during this duration?
Well, they stopped me in February 2013. The house, according to our plans, were going to be fully finished by spring of the same year. Since they have done so, we have been attending before court for several times, not one appearance, not two, more than 8 or 9 or 10 appearances before court. That's excluding the Ontario Municipal Court. So,
but where have you been living? You've been living somewhere else. You've been forced to rent something else.
I have been forced to rent another place, rent storage, store my materials that were going to go on the exterior of the house, and I'm still forced.
So with about 2 minutes left, I want to give you an opportunity to speak to the folks of Brampton and your fellow neighbors. What would you say to them in conclusion of this?
What I would say is that, unfortunately, they believed some unreasonable stories, and most of the neighbors have attended the court and heard the truth, but they still want to believe that it's my fault. This is not right. This matter will not get to a resolution unless one of two things: whether the city stand up and say, we have made this mess and we're sorry and we're gonna take it from there, or the court does that. And I see it the court is very close to do that. It's not common thing that the court reopen a matter after 2 years to investigate. So I think the court is very close to getting the bottom of it, or to force the direction of the divisional court to bring it to a conclusion.
And then that's my final question to you, with just about a minute left. What is it going to take to resolve this, Ahmed? What is it going to take to finish this house and make it something that's beautiful as what you've proposed? What's it going to take to resolve this situation?
I offered the city to do a retraction to clarify that I didn't do things wrong, and if they do this, we will work together. But they're refusing that, and me too.
I'd like to thank Ahmed Elbasiouni for coming on this program, and I appreciate you being here today and sharing your experience. We also want to thank Mike Leslie, Peggy Ronanen, and Lynn Murphy, who also appeared on this program. They talked a little bit about what it was like to be a neighbor to this. Also want to thank our producer, Paul Vicente, and our crew here at Brampton Focus for taking the time to shoot this and put this together. We hope this was informative. We encourage you to visit us on our Facebook page and to comment. If you have future story ideas or things that you think that are important, we'd appreciate it. My name is Michael Charbon. It's been a pleasure being with you, and we look forward to seeing you again on Brampton Focus. Thanks for watching.